Cortland Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report.
They're off in the San Vicente stake, and it's NADAL just in front of Ginobili, who's running a giant race.
Cortland Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report, and of course this is the Road to the Roses series. We're only a few weeks away from that first Saturday in May and the first leg of the Triple Crown, the historic Kentucky Derby from Churchill Downs in Louisville. And one of the major preps, or certainly one of the preps before we get into like the two-turn route races in California. The San Vicente Stakes, of course, fits that mold. It's been won by a number of prominent horses, as I mentioned in the preview podcast, including Silver Charm and Majestic Prince and Nyquist, some short 4 years ago. And going into this race, the big buzz was, of course, about Storm the Court, the winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, making his sophomore debut against a couple Bob Baffert runners, including the impressive maiden winner NADAL, named after the tennis legend, Rafael Nadal. He had won a conditions race. This was his second start, and he's sort of kind of trying to pull a Justify here, being an unraced 2-year-old. And Bob Baffert would have liked to have run him in allowance company, but thought the 7 furlongs after a 6.5 furlong jaunt, a race in which he got a very good number, would be an ideal spot to sort of test his fitness and his ability against stakes graded stakes company. And that's exactly what happened in here. He was able to win this race by 3/4 of a length over a very game Ginobili, who ran a huge race, son of Munnings, which would lend you to believe he's more of a one-turn horse, but we'll see. He ran a very, very nice race. Perhaps the connections are going to stretch him out and see if he can be a Derby candidate. He was second in this race, 1 1/4 lengths in front of Fast Enough, who I thought would hit the board in the preview pod when making a few picks. He was a neck in front of Storm the Court, who went in at 3-1. Nadal was a 1-5 or a 1-9 shot, and the favorite going into this race. And of course, obviously the Baffert factor, key to those odds being the way they were, and he was impressive in his maiden score. Describe this race for the son of blame, that being Nadal. He was on the pace. He got an inside trip. Initially, Ginobili took over the lead, and then Nadal decided to, of course, forward himself on a pace that was 21.89 for the first quarter, 44.09 for the half, and then they went 3/4 in 109.05. Final clocking for the 7 furlongs, 122.59. Not overwhelmingly impressive, but these two horses battle. They put on a show in terms of the turn. Ginobili, as I said before, was on the pace, was briefly overtaken by Nadal, took the lead going a little bit wide on the turn as Nadal, the winner, got the inside trip, but he ran very, very gamely, tried to come on when Nadal put his head in front and seemed to be drawing clear. Fast Enough, his race was very, very good. He was right in the middle of the mix, sort of stalking and seemingly aware of the fact he was going to be outrun. Had an inside trip, outran Storm the Court on that inside turn about 3.5 furlongs out, made a very, very nice bid and ran well. And he's a horse that maybe perhaps you can start to calculate in terms of being a two-turn horse. We'll just have to, of course, see how that unfolds. Storm the Court stalked. He was right in the middle of this race. Got outrun on the turn by Fast Enough. That was really the key to him being outrun, not only outrun at that point, but ultimately in terms of the top three, having a little bit more turn of foot. He kind of hung a little bit and was just simply outfinished. Perhaps he wants more distance. The 7 furlongs isn't ideally perfect for every single horse. So, there's going to be room for Peter Urton to try to inject maybe not so much a little more speed, but he'll get the distance that he wants if, in fact, he relishes the route distances for in the lead up to the Kentucky Derby. We'll just have to see how Storm the Court does. 4th place finish, though, still at 3-1. Probably not what the connections we're looking for. As for Nadal, the winner, son of blame, he's out of a Pulpit mare, Ascending Angel. Why is that interesting? Pulpit was, of course, a son of AP Indy, which made him a grandson of Seattle Slew, the Triple Crown winner from 1977. So you've got a lot of stamina on the bottom side. And Pulpit, of course, was a Bluegrass Stakes winner, Florida Derby runner-up. Didn't run as well against Silver Charm in the Kentucky Derby, chipped a knee, and he was retired. But there's a lot of potential there, and we all know how good Blame was. Some people, of course, aren't as enthralled with the winner of the 2010 Breeders' Cup Classic because it was 10 years ago he defeated Zenyatta and, of course, put a mark on her then undefeated record, which was 19 in a row, trying to finish out her career with a double Breeders' Cup Classic to her resume, back-to-back and a perfect 20 for 20 career. And Blame sort of is the one to actually blame for her not being able to finish her career undefeated. But nevertheless, that pedigree certainly lends one to believe that Nadal is an exciting prospect. And of course, once again, a lot of people are going to make inevitable comparisons to the Triple Crown winner from 2 years ago, Justify, because we have that same format going once again unfolding. And George Bolden, one of the principal owners of this horse, in conjunction with Bob Baffert, are sort of looking at the Rebel Stakes. I thought that might be a spot for the Robert B. Lewis winner out of the Baffert Brigade. 1,000 Words or Authentic, the winner of the Sham, going there. But it could be conjectured that two of those horses out of the three could go to the Rebel. But it looks like that's going to be probably the target for Nadal unless they decide to change course. Baffert has said that 1,000 Words probably will stay in California, at least for the San Felipe, and then we'll see if he either stays once again, remains at the Arcadia Oval for the Santa Anita Derby or ships out to the Arkansas Derby. So it'll be interesting to see how Baffert may or may not interchange the parts in terms of these Derby prospects. But Nadal wins the 2020 San Vicente Stakes with a very, very flashy display of speed, outgaming Ginobili by 3/4 of a length in 122.59 for the 7 furlongs to register his first stakes win. Nadal, named after tennis legend Rafael Nadal, wins the 2020 San Vicente Stakes for trainer Bob Baffert.
Bob Baffert is unstoppable. 1,000 words wins the Robert B. Lewis and 3,000 North American wins. Bob Baffert is unstoppable. Bob Baffert is unstoppable. Nadal is handwritten at the rail. Nadal puts his head in front with an eighth to go. Gets a reminder. Ginobili keeping him company. 4 in front of Fast Enough. A 16th to run. And it's Nadal just in front of Ginobili, who's running a giant race. Nadal is doing the work though. And it will be Nadal taking care of business in the San Vicente. Ginobili a good second, then Fast Enough and Storm the Court. Bob Baffert is unstoppable. Bob Baffert is unstoppable. And it's Nadal just in front of Ginobili, who's running a giant race. Nadal is doing the work though, and it will be Nadal taking care of business in the San Vicente.